questions from you guys, ideas from you all, and I put that into my interviews with these players every week. And something very fun at the end of the interview is I do an activity like Office Olympics, just something really fun. And I don't always win, but that's not the point. Just so you guys can get the chance to see these players as people, not just as guys with helmets on running around on Sundays. It's really cool. So if I have your interest, please click subscribe to my YouTube channel and let me know what you think. Good evening, good evening. I just need a second to make sure I got everything going properly as I believe I do. And we will get going here. So everything looks good. Chris Jenkins, credentialed member of the media covering the Carolina Panthers for Charlotte Vibe, here to talk to you guys about the post-game show. Here to talk to you about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the Carolina Panthers. Final score in this game today was way too much to way too little. Final score in this game was Carolina Panthers 23, Tampa Bay Buccaneers 46. That is pretty bad. And let me go ahead and get through a few formalities. If you're watching on Facebook or Twitter, I invite you to jump on over to YouTube if you have any questions. These shows are live for the point of being interactive, which is why I hope that you're here to watch this show. And also this shirt that I'm wearing, I hope you like it. It's the best shirt to wear right now, given these current times with the Carolina Panthers struggling. Good way to show your support to the team and also help support the channel. There's a link below for you to do that. And as always, super chats are welcome. So let's go ahead and get into it. Chris Johnson, always here. I appreciate you. And Shaquid Barr here. How long before snow is fired? I will keep. So, you know, Shaq, go ahead and continue to leave your questions. I will certainly come to them, man. I love watching you doing the game because you obviously don't like this defense. And, hey, I like people that have opinions, so I appreciate you joining in. We're going to go through some things pretty quickly here. I'll say pretty quickly, but we'll go through them as much as we can for what was given to us. And sorry for being a few minutes late. You know, game ended at least an hour ago, and we just finished, like literally just finished talking to players. Trey Boston was the last one to just address the media, so that is why I'm a few minutes late to this broadcast. And I plan on doing another show tomorrow, so look for that alert to come through to jump on, hit the subscription button. I really feel like this team is at a tipping point, and I say at a tipping point, whereas I feel like at this point, I mean, we've been having some great games up until now, which has been great to watch. I feel like with the frustration from the day, we may be at a tipping point where, you know, we're going to get over the hump and start winning more games than we're losing. Or we're going to see a lot of frustration by players leading to a lot of mistakes on the field, which means we're going to go into a very big losing streak. So that's my quick opinion, just from things that I saw with players talking today and how slowly things went today with talking to players compared to what normally happens. Let's start with Matt Rule, who was the first one that we got a chance to talk to after the game. As always, Coach Matt Rule that comes up first. Matt, he opened by saying he was unbelievably, terribly disappointed with everybody that has anything to do with the product that's been put out on that field today. Players, coaches, staff, everything. And he even mentioned the fact that with the fans, he felt the fans were good today. He gave props to the fans for not leaving early before the fourth quarter whistle blew and stayed there supporting the team. So he said, we got to play a lot better than this in front of our home team, So it seemed like he felt disgusted in many ways. And he said that run game, yet part of that 98-yarder was terrible because Tampa Bay did something just like that to them the first time they played down in Tampa. And to see it happen again is frustrating. And one thing that I'm going to go ahead and talk about that you all were upset about during the game was that the clock management with the DJ Moore catch that got overturned, and then they went back and, that whole sequence. So with that, Matt Rule said that he didn't really, when it first happened, they didn't see it as something being close. You throw in the penalty that was happening, and they're like, okay, this is great. DJ just made a great catch. We got 15 more yards, and didn't really see that there was a need to clock it waste of play potentially, just so that they can go in and not have the play challenge. So that was the statement that he gave about that play call with DJ Moore. For the 98-yard touchdown run, pretty much it said guys didn't play the assignment. And just got through speaking with Rasul Douglas, got through speaking with Trey Boston. Both of these guys commented about how Shaq Thompson's there yelling out the play before it happens. So they were prepared in the sense that people had done their film study, people had listened to the coaches, they knew what was coming. And then what happened was they did not get the execution that they were supposed to have. And, two things that I saw, I haven't went back and watched the tape, was, and this could have been just as a result of people playing out of position. They try to do something they can't quite get there. Trey Boston seemed like he was that first person that really created that opportunity once he got through the line, not taking the best angle. And Jeremy Chin certainly looked like he was going to catch him, and just seemed like he ran out of top end speed. I mean, he seemed like he was coming and then just didn't have it all in the tank to finish catching him. So that ended up being a play that Trey Boston said, hey, if you want to be honest, yes, something like that happened to you takes a little bit out of you. When you get hit on the chin like that for 98 yards, the guy didn't run around a bunch of people. He ran right up the gut, like right down the center of your defense, and that'll take something out of you. So certainly some things they got to tidy up here and tighten up. And I know, Shaquille, you're mad about Snow. You want to know when Snow's going to be fired. I think when you watch, you can't blame Snow for what's going on, because they are doing good things. They're just not able to sustain those good things. You could say players play like their coach to go to another level, but I think still you got to keep everything in perspective of being first year and what's going on with this team. Rule said as much as he hates losing by this many points, he still has to treat this just like to do every game. He said it in the past. Whether we win, whether we lose, we have to scrutinize ourselves and get better and do that every single week. And he says it starts with him. I would imagine that this week there's going to be a lot of attention to detail on everything. And the player said that Shaq Thompson really was furious after the game and addressed the team using a lot of curse words, as you might imagine, about guys needing to step up and be accountable. So to be continued. But again, Rule said everybody needs to understand that they cannot, and will not play like they did today ever again. And he described today's game as a slow, methodical bleed, which to me tells you I don't think Coach Rule is going to get much sleep tonight, being frustrated with the performance of that team today. Matt Paradis, this team has been struggling in the third quarter lately, and I'm going to talk about that in a little bit, but he was asked about the third quarter performance of the team, and he was really kind of speechless at first when asked, kind of searching for what to say of it, and just, it's something that they are struggling about. Got a chance to start with Trent Canton. He had like a 98-yard or 96-yard punt return, kickoff return it was, didn't make it. He said he thought he was going to make it, didn't make it, but he's going to keep trying, and next time he promises that he will make that long touchdown and put some points on the board. I'm seeing some comments coming through from Shaquille here, which, my man, I'm going to come to you. So again, if you're watching on Facebook or Twitter, got a comment, want to hear from you, invite you to jump on over to YouTube. That way I can see your comments and respond to you. Now, Rasul Douglas was the star of media availability today. And I say he was a star because he showed a lot of transparency and being upset. Probably if you go back and watch now, you'll see some bleeps. But I think some of those curse words from his chat with the media probably got out there. So needless to say, he was upset about the game today. Took it upon himself to say this loss is on him. It's completely on him. He said, cornerbacks, you're playing one of the toughest positions on defense, and you have to have that mentality to be able to erase what just happened and get back focused and play your next play. He said he struggled with that today. He said that he found himself thinking about previous plays while another play was going on, and he could not bring the energy to the defense that he normally brings, and he felt like that was a trickle-down effect to his teammates, just taking a lot of responsibility for it. Now, Trey Boston came on, And I asked Trey about Rasul's comments, and he said, "Nah, I can't let him do this. You know, we're a defense that goes to take accountability for ourselves." And he said, "You know, it's on him." Trey says, "It's on me. It's not. We're a unit. It's not Rasul Douglas. It's not Trey Boston. We're a unit." So obviously, some frustrated players. Obviously, some talks are going to continue to happen between those guys to get this corrected, and nobody's liking the way that they are right now with this team. So there was also some bad penalties. Let me go through that because now I'm about to go into my stats, and you guys just made the comment about penalties. So let me see if I can quickly pull it up and tell you what the penalties were from today's game. Give me just a second. I don't know how many penalties we had today. They didn't stick out to me immediately when I was watching the game. Man, looks like I brought an empty cup to the show, so I cannot get anything to drink and refresh myself here. Again, if you like the shirt, there's a link in the description for you guys to go ahead and show some support of the team, as well as help Charlotte Vibe continue to do what we do. Penalties. It wasn't too bad today. New England. Man, Tampa Bay. Wow, I can't even talk right. Tom Brady is so synonymous with New England. I'm saying New England, but Tampa Bay Buccaneers had 3 penalties for 30 yards. That was exceptional. We had 5 penalties for 40 yards. A little bit more than a penalty per quarter. I'm not going to say that that's great, but I don't think it's bad. The turnover game today was even, 1 apiece. But let me continue to go through some of these stats that I want to share with you guys. Let's go ahead and look at the stats from today's game. Sorry about that. All right, so Teddy Bridgewater. I'm going to take a look at him first. Had a pretty solid game. Didn't play absolutely perfect because he had that turnover late in the game, but 18 of 24, 136 yards. Is that correct? Yes, that is correct. 136 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception, a 98.6 passer rating. So Teddy Bridgewater today didn't do too bad at all. Let's go to the receivers, let's go first to the running backs. Mike Davis. That is not Mike Davis' stat. Get this right, screen man. Mike Davis, 7 carries, 32 yards, a 4.6 yard average. So right there, that points out something that I didn't even think about until I got to this point right now, which is I couldn't say that we so much got away from the run, which we did, as well as we just didn't have a lot of plays out there today. And that's another stat that I'm going to bring down here in a second that, I didn't realize that. We didn't get a lot of plays. We had to go away from the run a little bit to keep up with the flow of the game, but we weren't able to run the ball anywhere near what we normally do. So that is something that we got to address. So that was Mike Davis' stats that you saw there. 7 carries, 32 yards, 4.6 yard average. Now let's go to these receivers. Let me fix this graphic just a little bit before I bring this up. It's a little bit easier to see. All right, here we go. DJ Moore got the lead in targets today, got the lead in yards today, and I told you beforehand, I thought this was going to be a little bit, not completely premeditated, but I felt like they weren't going to really wait one more game to make sure that DJ Moore got involved with this offense. So DJ Moore had 4 receptions, nearly a 100-yard game, had 96 yards. And look at this. This guy is averaging a monstrous 24 yards a game. 24 yards per catch. Already was 3rd in the league coming into the game with averaging 8.3. So he's building on that, may go up in that category. So DJ Moore showing that when he does get the target, when he does get the ball, that he is, surprisingly becoming our deep threat a little bit, because Robbie Anderson is kind of like our short threat and go deep. So interesting how this season's playing out for us so far. Robbie Anderson, 4 receptions, 21 yards, and he had 6 targets. So quite the off game for Robbie Anderson, something that you're not used to seeing from him. But being beat 46-23 is not something that you're used to seeing for these Carolina Panthers. Let's go ahead and switch on over to the defensive side. Look at a few stats here, which I know, Shakir, you should be all over this because you love defense. I'm sorry, I'm looking at a few comments here that I'm going to get back to. So let me go ahead and bring up these defensive stats here. That's the previous offensive stat, and here's your defensive stat. So Corn Elder was our leading tackler today with 8. Shaq Thompson right behind him with 7. Shaq also had 2 tackles for a loss, 1 quarterback hit. And hey, leave your comments below. But we did a decent job of getting some hits on Tom Brady today. I think our total hits on Tom Brady today was, man, I wish I had all these stats in front of me that they have on broadcast TV, but I'm going to bring it to you. We had a total of 7 hits on Tom Brady today. I only had 1 sack, but I think getting to him and hitting him, I think it was good. It totally didn't work completely, but I feel like we were doing things right, just weren't able to, enough people wasn't able to do things right. But I feel like the game plan was there. Of course, there's a play here and there that you want to be picky about that they did, especially late in the game where they were so far deep, and then they let the underneath guy get the 4th and 9th. I'm not sure if it was 4th or 3rd, so excuse me there, but I know it was about a 19-yard to go, and they were able to get it. So we got to stop that for sure from happening. Zach Kerr, 5 tackles, 1 tackle for a loss, 2 quarterback hits. F.A. Abada getting the only sack of the day. He had 2 tackles, 1 sack, and 1 tackle for a loss. Now, let me go ahead and share with you guys some things that I observed before we get off of here and go get dinner and tune into the Sunday night football. Also, I'm going to check the standings of the other NFC South teams before we get off of here. All right, now some stats. First, I like to go a little bit of the offensive side, a little bit over the defensive side. Now some stats that I feel like were more storytelling about this game and things that we got to improve on, things that we got to work on, things that I'm going to talk to players and coaches about this week so I can start to get an idea of how we may be addressing them and how we may fix them. Now, if you guys got questions, again, that's why I hope you subscribe to this channel. I hope you're watching this channel because I like to work for the fans, all right? So let me go ahead and bring up this stat right here. All right, 3rd quarter scoring. This is something that I've been hearing about, something I looked into a little bit more, and this is what I found out today versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. 0 points in the 3rd quarter. 0 points. Same thing happened last week versus the Chiefs. 0 points, 3rd quarter versus the Chiefs. Go back 3 games. We had 3 points versus the Falcons. You have to go all the way back. You got to go back a month to see the last time we scored a touchdown in the 3rd quarter. So, yes, we're coming out of the half, not able to really do what we did in the first half. I can't, this is new, so you could say, is it our coaching adjustments that need to happen, or is it the other team making more adjustments against us, especially when it's a divisional opponent and you're playing them for the 2nd time? I right now think it's more of the divisional opponent playing us for the 2nd time, knowing what our tendencies are, not are, but knowing what they could do, and then making adjustments where we're just not getting a lot of production in the 3rd quarter from the offensive standpoint. Let's look at another stat. 0 punts today by Tampa Bay, 4 by the Carolina Panthers, and that is something that's it's almost like the turnover battle, right? If you can't win a turnover battle, which is a big part of giving yourself a chance to win. You got to stop the other team from getting on your side of the field at some point. And this is where I could see that you guys are screaming defense, 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 because the defense is not getting them to punt the ball. That is certainly a problem. Now, to say where the problem lies within the defense, as the players, as the coaching, that's something that's just a little bit harder to pinpoint and pick out. But as a result of no punts on Tampa Bay, they were able to execute 77 plays today. 30 more plays than the Carolina Panthers. 77 plays were executed by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. 30 plays executed by the Carolina Panthers. A little tough to win the game there. One more stat. I'm going to go ahead and show it to you guys. Third down efficiency didn't do too well. Tampa Bay, it's an offensive stat. They made it 63% of the time, 10 of 16. Carolina, I got a typo in there. No, that's not a typo. I just didn't put a space in there. But Carolina was 1 of 9 is what that graphic is supposed to say there. Carolina was 1 of 9 for a whopping 11% third down conversion. So that hurt us as well. So those are, again, some of the stats that I feel like from today that tell the story. Zero third quarter scoring. Third down efficiency on our part was only 11%, 1 of 9. Tampa Bay was 10 of 16 for 63%. And just the number of plays. They didn't punt the ball at all, and they were able to have 77 plays. So, yeah, teams, especially today, man, it just seems like they just built. They just got stronger as the game went. We got weaker as the game went. Breakdown on the scores. We had Tampa Bay had 7, 10, 12, and 17 scoring to get to that 46. We had 14, 3, 0, 2 field goals. So, yeah. Turning the corner here on this report today. Dante Jackson continues to get hurt. That's a concern. I know he's been trying. To me, at some point, you start to wonder about just going ahead and let this guy heal. Carolina Panthers are now 3-7, not at all in good position to make it to the playoffs. I feel like one more loss. You got a guy like Dante, which is still relatively young, still a guy that you're leaning on. Go ahead, let him heal. I ain't saying take him out for the rest of the game, but go ahead and let him heal and come back and play some strong games to finish out the season for us. Mike Davis, he got hurt with his thumb injury. He was able to return, but that's something to keep your eye out on. You know, Reggie Bonifant was a backup. He's gone. P.J. Walker's always left active when Christian McCaffrey's not out to give us some depth there. Curtis Samuel's guy. But again, Mike Davis is by far our best backup solution when Christian McCaffrey's out. And we're going to have to see if Christian McCaffrey is able to come back. No word from Coach Rule about Teddy Bridgewater. No media availability with Teddy Bridgewater. We will have some tomorrow and start to get an idea on what is going on with that. That'll conclude my show. Let me go ahead and talk to you guys. Make sure I read all the comments before I get out of here. Appreciate everybody that's joined in. Hey, check out the shirt. It's online, link in the description. Support the team and the channel at the same time. All right, let's go through some of these points that I did not get a chance to get to. Just some criticism about the defense, which I get. Teddy Bridgewater is out for a long time. They should keep Snow a defensive coordinator. They keep tanking, they will get a top 5 pick. We're not tanking, man. But hey, I appreciate you sharing your comments, right? That's what the show is all about, sharing your comments, seeing different perspectives. Okay, now I get this. Problem with the defense is you're not seeing the improvement week to week. I get that. Save the New England comment for next year when the Panthers play them. Tell Chris, I think you are an official member of the Phil Snow fan club. So I'm not saying I'm a member of the fan club. I just don't see that there's something glaring that he's doing that is supporting the losses. I don't see that he's doing anything just bad. I feel like he's trying. I feel like the team's trying. I feel like they're just not getting there. It's no different than Coach Rule, being asked about the red zone, the third quarter offense. You know, at one point it was the red zone offense. Like, what can you do? And he's like, just keep practicing. Keep trying something different. Keep trying until you get it right. So with the defense, I feel like it's the same thing. You know, they're trying. It's still a young team to get something right. So they don't. It takes time at some points to get things right. So that's what we're waiting for. Hey, big shouts out to the regime that dude the second with a $5 contribution to the channel to keep us going, to stay us alive. Appreciate it. I appreciate it. And again, hope you guys hit that thumbs up button. The reason YouTubers ask about it so much is because it helps other people find out about our channel, helps us grow, helps us more effectively do what we love to do, which is bring unique content to you guys, to the regarding Carolina Panthers. And again, I am still desperately trying to get players on the show. I know that's what everybody tunes in for. That's what you love. That's what I love. It's just so hard with the fact that I cannot get close to the players to ask and invite them on the show and to gain that rapport with them. But doesn't mean I'm not going to stop trying. So keep on tuning in, keep on helping me grow, and we'll make it happen. So, hey, next up for the Carolina Panthers, I'm not sure. Let me see if I can quickly find a schedule here so I don't seem like a guy that doesn't know anything because I'm so focused on this. And I don't even normally conclude with that. But the next up, Detroit Lions. That is our next opponent. And let me also see if I can quickly give you some score updates from the league before we jump off of here. Computer wants to go a little slow while I'm online, but hopefully it's not going to go too slow. All right, it is going too slow, so I can't give you the updates, but signing off, Chris Jenkins, Charlotte Vibe, enjoy your Sunday.